Hi, my name is Marnie Winters. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. The purpose of this channel is to provide college and career information for individuals who are interested in it. One thing that I would like to have you do before we get going is get a notebook or some paper and then a pen or a pencil so that you can take notes. I'll be doing a series of videos, and if you decide that you would like to refer back to a particular piece of information later, you can go back to your notes to refer to that and find that very quickly and won't have to sift through multiple videos and watch those videos just to get to one specific piece of information. It'll actually be a time saver for you down the road. So go ahead and pause this video and then get some paper and a pen or a pencil and then come back right back and start it up again and we'll get going. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started. And the first area that I wanted to discuss is an incredible way to save a lot of money. And that is, instead of living in a dorm room and purchasing a meal plan each year, live at home. And the reason is because that is an area where you're going to save a lot of money. I did research, and on average at public schools, students who live in dorms spend approximately $12,000 to $15,000 a year on a dorm room. And that is a lot of money just for 1 year, especially when that year is an academic year, which runs from fall semester through the end of winter semester, or some schools will call it spring semester. Basically, it's the time period of August through May. So that is a lot of money to be spending on that time period. A lot of times when you'll hear stories in the media about students who are completely saddled with student loan debt that they're having trouble repaying back, the reason for that is because those students have made a series of choices that possibly wasn't the best series of choices to be making if they wanted to save money and to reduce the amount of money that they were borrowing. Some of those individuals could have made a lot better choices. And one of the things that they could have done was opted to live at home and save that kind of money on dorms and fees. Well, $60,000 is a lot of money. That is a lot of money that they could be saving, and odds are they borrowed that $60,000 to be able to cover those expenses. That would be $60,000 less that you have to pay by the time that it's all said and done. If you're going to be spending that kind of money, my advice actually is to save it and spend it on a master's degree or a doctorate degree instead, because that's going to be a much better return on investment. And what that means is borrowing that kind of money is going to be paying you back because you'll have a higher level degree. You'll have more career doors opening to you, different career doors opening to you. You'll be able to get into jobs that pay you a lot more than with just a bachelor's degree. You can end up making a lot more money if you take that $48,000 to $60,000 and funnel it into an upper level degree. So if you have to spend that kind of money, that would be my recommendation. Otherwise, if you know you're going to get a bachelor's degree and end there, don't end up borrowing that money at all if you're going to end up spending it on a dorm room and a meal plan. I'm sure that colleges don't want to hear this because that's where they make money, is through that, of course, $48,000 to $60,000. But do yourself a favor and find another alternative. Live at home if you can, so that you can end up keeping that money in your pocket and not end up having that tacked onto your student loan bill when you get ready to start repaying those loans. Now, if you end up living at home, odds are you're going to be attending a school that's close by and commuting back and forth. And if you end up going to a public school, you'll be paying in-state tuition and not out-of-state tuition. And a lot of public schools will have those charges, in-state versus out-of-state. So, for example, I live in Columbus, Ohio. So if I attended Ohio school, I would be paying one price. If somebody from Michigan or Indiana or California came and went to that same school, they would end up paying a higher price. I did get online to the Ohio State University's website. That's also in Columbus, Ohio, and not far from where I live. And they do have two different types of tuition. One is for the residents of Ohio, one is for out-of-state residents. And the tuition for a resident in the state of Ohio is $10,037 per year. The tuition for an out-of-state student, so for that Michigan or Indiana or California student, their tuition is $28,229 a year. That is a difference of $18,192. Now, of course, the tuition at every college is going to vary, so there'll be different prices at each place that you check into and where you go. But the $18,000 is just kind of like a guideline for you to keep in the back of your head. Because if you decide to go to a college that's in another state, you may end up having to spend $18,000 more than somebody in that same state. You may end up having to spend $18,000 more than if you just stayed in your home state and attended a local college and took advantage of those in-state tuition prices. So that is definitely, a big factor to take into consideration, saving that kind of money. Now, over the course of 4 years, the student at Ohio State who gets charged those in-state tuition prices would be charged a total of $40,148. That's what the whole 4 years would cost them. That's what their bachelor's degree would cost them in terms of tuition. The same student who's out of state, Michigan, Indiana, California, whatever state it is that they come from, would end up spending for their bachelor's degree a total of $112,901. That is a total savings for someone who attends an in-state school. That would be a total savings of $72,753. $72,000 is really a lot of money. I mean, think about how much money you would be saving in payments if you weren't borrowing that kind of money. So it definitely is worthwhile to stay in state. Don't leave the state. You can even go to a different part of the state if you feel like you need to get out of your own city to experience something different. You could move to a different city, but don't consider going to another state unless you are really okay with borrowing that kind of money to be able to cover it or can afford to pay for it out of pocket. If you really want to save that money and make your payments as low as possible when you're paying back those loans, stay in your state, save that $72,000. Now, for students who attend a college close by and live at home and don't have to pay for the dorm and meal plan and take advantage of in-state tuition, their savings, if they did that, would be between $102,753 up to $180,753. So they would be saving well over $100,000 just by living at home and attending a school that's in state. That's $100,000. That is definitely $100,000 is a lot of money. Save that money. Don't tack that on to what you end up having to pay back. Don't borrow it to begin with. Another good way to save on tuition is to attend a community college first and then transfer to a four-year institution, because the tuition at community colleges is significantly cheaper. And that's the way it is across the country. Every community college that you run into is going to be a lot cheaper than going to any other college. It will be your cheapest option. In Columbus, there is a community college called Columbus State Community College, and I did go to their website to look to see how much their tuition was and what it cost there. And their tuition for 1 credit hour is $135.93 for 1 credit hour. That is a really, really good deal. Now, at Ohio State University, which is right down the road from them, their tuition for the same 1 credit hour is $419. So right there, it costs an extra $283 just to go to a four-year college than if you would start off at a community college, take the exact same class, and then transfer it to a four-year institution. 12 hours is the minimum amount of hours that students need to be full-time. So students who attend Columbus State and take 12 hours would spend $1,631 on their tuition for a semester for 12 hours. That same student who would take the same classes at Ohio State, 12 hours, the exact same classes, would spend $5,028 on tuition. That is a difference of $3,396, $3,397. So that's almost a $3,400 difference. And that's the savings over one semester. Now, over an academic year, which is 2 semesters, the savings would be nearly $6,800. Over a 12-month period, because some students will go to school year-round to make sure they graduate within 4 years. Over a 12-month period, the savings would be $13,600 in 1 year. And for students who get an associate's degree at a community college and then transfer to a 4-year institution to get a bachelor's degree, the savings would be $25,000 roughly. So that is seriously a lot of money. That's definitely a way to go. You could reduce the amount of money that you're borrowing by $25,000 just by going to a community college first. Now, students who decide to go to a community college first and then transfer to a 4-year college and finish up the last 2 years that they need to get a bachelor's degree, and who decide to live at home during that time, as opposed to somebody who may attend a school out of state and live in a dorm for all 4 years, the savings between those two students would be $145,753 up to $205,753. That is an incredible amount. You could be saving $200,000 just if you would decide to go to a community college first and then a 4-year college and stay at home, as opposed to leaving the state and spending your entire time in a dorm room and buying a meal plan. So that's definitely a big way to save a big hunk of money too right there. $200,000 is the price of a really nice home. So think of it in terms like that. Instead of paying back all that money in student loans, you could instead funnel that money into a really nice house someplace. There are programs available at high schools for students that allows them to take college classes and have it count for college credit and towards their high school graduation requirements at the same time. If you're viewing this from a different state, I live in the state of Ohio. If you're viewing this from someplace that is outside the state of Ohio, then check with your local high school guidance office to find out what programs are available for you, because many high schools do offer those programs. So go in and speak with a guidance counselor or an advisor or whoever is in charge of college. If you have a college representative that's at your school, they'd be able to tell you what programs are available. In Ohio, there are 2 such programs that are available to students. The first one is called Seniors to Sophomores, and what that program allows students to do is at their senior year, they actually do not attend their high school at all. They have the whole day off and they go to a college instead and take college classes, and then those classes count for college credit and for their high school graduation requirements. At the end of every class, when you get your grades and you get an official transcript, you'll need to turn that transcript into your high school so that you can get credit for it. And those classes do count for your high school graduation requirements, so that way you can still graduate. So at the end of your senior year, you will graduate with your high school diploma. Next fall, when you start taking college classes, you will actually be a sophomore. You will not be freshman status, hence the name Seniors to Sophomores. And the good thing about that program is you can get your high school to pay for the cost of tuition, to pay for the books, to pay for the fees. You won't be paying anything. It will be all covered by your school system. So that I did some research on this too, and the average amount of savings that students can get because they'll be attending full-time would be about $6,800 in tuition, plus $1,000 in books for attending full-time, plus about $100 in fees. It would be a total of $7,950 total that would be saved. So nearly $8,000 off your tuition bill. And that's a good amount of money too, and every little bit's going to help that you don't have to borrow in loans. Another program like the Seniors to Sophomores that's available in Ohio is a program called College Credit Plus, and that works a lot like the Seniors to Sophomores program. Students get to take college classes. Those college classes count towards both college credit and high school graduation requirements. The primary difference between this is students as young as 9th grade are able to participate in the program. So freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors all can be able to participate in it. And for students who start in their 9th grade year, if they plan this out properly with an academic advisor, they could actually graduate with an associate's degree at the same time that they graduate with their high school diploma. You need to work very closely with your academic advisor at the college that you're attending, and you need to make sure that you attend the same college all 4 years. You would need to work with the academic advisor. They could help you enroll in classes and make sure that you meet all the requirements. And then when you graduate with your high school diploma, you would also be graduating from a community college with an associate's degree. So then that way, that fall when you started in at college, you'd actually be going in as junior level, not as a freshman. I did some checking on the amount of money that could be saved with that program, and that amount of money that could be saved could be up to $25,000 and a total of $4,000 in books, $600 in fees, and that's about the maximum amount. That's on the high end of what students could save. The values may be lower than that depending on what year it is that you start, how often it is that you're taking classes, if you take classes every semester, if you keep going every year. So the amount of money that you end up saving could vary just from student to student to student, depending on where you are in the program. One great way to be able to save money too is for gift-giving occasions, ask for gift cards. You could make things really easy for your family just by asking for those gift cards. You could ask for gift cards to places that you frequent, restaurants, retail stores, gas stations, office supply stores. You may want to check with your school to find out who owns and operates the bookstore. It may be owned and operated by your college, but it may be owned and operated by a Barnes & Noble bookstore. They do own and operate a lot of bookstores across the country. You could ask for Barnes & Noble's gift certificates from everybody. Those are really easy to buy because a lot of pharmacies and grocery stores now have the gift card racks right when you walk in the door. You could have them buy you those gift certificates, take them into your college bookstore, and use them towards the cost of your books. If you attend full-time, the cost of books could run you around $500 every semester. So that would be definitely a break to be able to help you afford your books and not have to pay so much out of pocket and not go into so much sticker shock, I guess, when you went into a store. The last way I have to provide to you is to get a job while you're in school. And I know that this may sound really simple, but getting a job is going to help you with your living expenses. It's going to help you be able to have money to pay for rent, mortgage, utilities if you end up living on your own. If you still live at home with your parents, having a job is going to be really beneficial anyway. You can pay for books, you can pay for your school supplies, you can pay for a computer and computer accessories. If you go to a community college, you may be able to even pay for that tuition out of pocket and not take out any loans. If you continued to live at home while you were getting your bachelor's degree, you still may be able to come up with enough cash to at least pay for a majority of that tuition out of pocket, if not the whole thing. So having a job can definitely help you reduce the amount of expenses, reduce the amount that you have to pay. And it's going to make things a lot easier on you financially if you know that you've got a paycheck coming in on a regular basis that's going to be able to help you out. Well, that's the information that I have to give you today. So I hope to have you back for future videos. Again, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.